Fala pessoal, estamos de volta com mais um react aqui no canal e desta vez vamos ver um vídeo do Tifo Football by The Athletic, que é um canal do The Athletic, que é um dos maiores sites, um dos sites mais renomados sobre futebol do mundo, que acompanha o futebol no geral e cresceu tanto que foi comprado pelo New York Times faz alguns anos aí, mas é uma referência assim, em conteúdo é, é absurdo, assim, falta palavras aí pro The Athletic, que é muito, muito bom. E eles fizeram um vídeo aí sobre o que está acontecendo com a seleção brasileira, né, nos últimos tempos, por que estamos em crise. E é, né, sempre interessante a gente ver uma visão de fora, né, diferente da nossa aqui do Brasil, do porquê que raios a gente está tão mal, né, sofrendo tantas crises seguidas aí com a seleção brasileira. Mas antes disso, eu queria pedir para vocês se inscreverem no canal, para vocês compartilharem o vídeo se vocês gostaram e para vocês comentarem aí o que vocês acharam desse vídeo, dessa visão estrangeira do nosso futebol brasileiro, da nossa seleção brasileira. E antes de dar o play, eu acho que tá tudo certo com as legendas aqui, espero que funcione direitinho para a gente poder acompanhar. Beleza, pessoal?
As Brazil exited the 2022 World Cup, they were the #1 ranked side in the world. But since Qatar, they've won just 7 of their 18 competitive matches, and the team that has more World Cups than any other are labouring to even qualify for the North American World Cup in 2026. After their most recent disappointment, a 4-1 loss to Argentina that some regard as being even more humiliating than the infamous 7-1 defeat to Germany, forward Vinicius Jr. said that the Seleção would have to rethink everything. So, what's gone wrong for Brazil, and can they fix it in time for the World Cup?
A gente tem, né, um histórico de chegar à seleção desacreditada na Copa e tal, essa crença de que se tá assim na hora da Copa vai acontecer alguma coisa, eles vão conseguir, né, se juntar e ganhar, mas não tem sido assim, né? Não, o momento é tão ruim que a gente não tem essa perspectiva não, né? Vamos ver o que eles vão falar agora.
Brazil's prestige is linked to their history. Between 1950 and 2002, they won 5 of the 13 World Cups played, and reached the final in 2 others. But it was the way that they did it that made them so unique. Where European teams were rigid, Brazil were free-flowing. Where Europeans were choreographed, Brazil were more off the cuff. And where the European teams passed, Brazil dribbled. So-called samba football was irresistible. And most importantly, it won. But towards the end of this period, things began to change a little. With the influx of money in the European game, the best Brazilian players began moving to Europe. The whole of the 1970 World Cup squad had played their football in Brazil, but by the time they reached the final in 1994, just 3 of the players who started the game played in Brazil. In 2002 it was the same, and although these squads featured shining individual talents like Romario, Ronaldo and Ronaldinho, many felt that they lacked the identity of the old sides. Now, fans could accept this while they were winning, but as they failed to get beyond even the quarter-final stage in all but one of the World Cups since 2002, many have started to feel that Brazil should go back to the old iconic way of playing. But the problem with this is that the players are different today. Stars like Vinicius Jr., Eder Militao and Marquinhos are among the best talents in the world, but they've barely spent any time in their career playing in Brazil. Their games are suited to European tactics that are, at times, at odds with the freedom of samba football. And the coaching has not adapted to this. Where fellow South American countries have embraced European ideas to produce more tactically sophisticated managers, Brazilian coaching has remained skeptical of foreign influence. And this has not just been at the international level, but at the domestic level too. Veteran Portuguese coach Jorge Jesus arrived at Flamengo in 2019 to a chorus of doubters who felt that he would struggle to adapt to their game. As he won the Copa Libertadores and the Brasileiro in his first season though, attitudes quickly changed. Since then, there's been an influx of foreign coaches into Brazilian football, and of the last 6 Brazilian league titles, 4 have been won by foreign coaches. But the change has yet to translate to the national team. In the history of the Seleção, there's been just 3 foreign managers who have managed just 7 games between them. And despite having world-class players that thrive in Europe, Brazil have continued to appoint Brazilian coaches. Pep Guardiola had shown interest after his spell with Barcelona in 2014, but the CBF still felt that a Brazilian coach was best. Many who argue in favour of this will point to Tite as an example of the success a Brazilian coach is still capable of having at international level. But Tite was far from the norm. At club level, he built a reputation as a retranqueiro, a coach who prioritised defensive solidity over the more expressive side of the
Mas o Tite não é nem tão retranqueiro assim, né? Tem bem piores. Acho que é lógico que ele sempre prioriza, né? Ele vai priorizar que a defesa não tome gols, e inclusive não tomava gols, né? Na seleção brasileira tomou muitos poucos gols, mas não dá para dizer que era um retranqueiro, assim, né? No estilo clássico da retranca, né? Eu acho que o Tite conseguiu dar uma transformada de estilo para não ser tão retranqueiro assim, não.
Of the game, and in 2014 he'd taken a year's sabbatical to study coaching in Europe, in which he visited Arsene Wenger's Arsenal and Carlo Ancelotti's Real Madrid. And these tactics, combined with his excellent man management skills, did help Brazil to their most successful period in recent history. In 2019 they ended a 12-year trophy drought by winning the Copa America on home soil, and in the 6 years he was in charge they lost just 7 matches. In the 2 years since he left, they've lost 8. And it's not as though the players have got dramatically worse. Alisson and Edison are 2 of the best goalkeepers in the world. Their talent pool at centre-back is arguably the deepest in international football, and while they are slightly lacking at full-back and in midfield, their forward line should be enough to terrorise any defence. They have admittedly missed Neymar, who despite his age and recent injury struggles is still a talismanic figure for the team. In his absence, Vinicius Jr. has struggled to fill the void and has just 6 goals in 36 games for his country, a tally that Neymar managed in just 10 games. Vinicius Jr. does have to take some blame for this, but he hasn't been helped by the coaching. Since the World Cup, the Seleção have appointed Brazilian managers Fernando Diniz and Dorival Jr., both of whom were probably the best Brazil had to offer in terms of domestic coaches at the time of their appointment, but neither were really up to the job. Now, after a superb qualification campaign for the 2022 World Cup, in which they went unbeaten, things have been pretty catastrophic this time around. And with this underperformance, public opinion is starting to change. Several pundits have started to argue that the team needs a foreign manager, and it seems that the Brazilian FA are listening. They approached Carlo Ancelotti to take the role in 2022 and 2023 and are looking to lure him again after dismissing Dorival Jr. in March 2025. Jesus, who's now managing in Saudi Arabia, is also a candidate. So it's easy to be pessimistic at the moment, but those who remember 2002 will have cause for optimism. Brazil
Olha
also
aí, ó, o que eu falei, né, do desacreditado e tal. Eu acho que eles não, né, até agora não, acho que não erraram, assim, o que a gente já pensava, assim, só tô sendo mais leves, né, mais gerais, assim, porque a gente tem mais críticas aí no meio do que essas que eles fizeram só, né.
struggled to qualify for that tournament, before appointing a new coach late in the day and turning things around to win. The hope will be that history can repeat itself in 2026. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. The Athletic is home to some of the world's best sports journalists, including David Ornstein, Daniel Taylor, Ollie Kay, Amy Lawrence and James Horncastle. With the latest transfer news and insight on every Premier League football story that matters, theathletic.com puts you inside football, and you can try.
É isso aí, é a grande propaganda do The Athletic, né, que realmente é um site maravilhoso, com grandes conteúdos. É, mas, né, sobre a seleção brasileira, acho que eles não erraram aí o que avaliaram, realmente isso. Lógico que poderia ser, né, um vídeo mais longo aí para analisar escolhas de jogadores e tudo mais, né, quem que poderiam ser os treinadores futuros e como que isso gira em torno de tudo, como toda a crise que o futebol brasileiro vive, não só em campo, mas também fora dele, né, com a CBF aí, com os escândalos recentes que foram apontados aí na revista Piauí, né, então a gente sabe que os problemas não são só dentro de campo, né, se fosse só isso tava bom, mas vamos ver aí o que os próximos capítulos aguardam para nossa seleção brasileira. Mas é isso, queria agradecer a vocês que assistiram esse vídeo até o final. Queria pedir para vocês se inscreverem no canal, que é sempre importante, para compartilhar se vocês gostaram e também comentarem o que vocês acharam, quem que deve ser, né, um novo treinador da seleção brasileira aí para esse ciclo final, né, esse ano final para a Copa do Mundo, quem que vocês acham que deve comandar a seleção brasileira. E nos vemos na próxima. Valeu, falou!